collective. What is this? What is the collective? When we're talking about non-duality and everybody is one and we are one, the oneness. It would seem that the collective is a bit of an issue because it suggests the possibility of not being in the oneness. And it becomes an issue, especially when we look towards humans, because humans are so deep in the experience of separation. Meaning, maybe the whole of creation is a process of division, cells dividing and light dividing from darkness and forms dividing, meaning separating. But the rest of creation seems to be quite at peace with that, quite free to move with that. Whereas humans seem to experience the agony of separation much more acutely. It's like there is a consciousness of the process of being divided, being separated. And all that entails, which it turns out is an enormous amount of experience, just right there in the experience of being divided one from the other, being consciously divided, being conscious that we are separated in form. Now, the forms is what's separating, of course, in creation, not the source. The same consciousness is showing up through many billions of separate forms. That's creation. And we have something of our mission and our purpose is to process through consciousness this agony of separation, or also this bliss of separation, or the beauty of separation, all of it, the ecstasy of being separate. Now we know that wherever there's a separation, there's an ecstasy or a bliss of reunion. When we connect with our essence, with the I amness, with the depth of the heart, with the substance of what we are, the unique substance of you. It's kind of amazing reunion. It's like a party. It's an explosion. Something comes home. Consciousness comes home to something which is its own source. It's amazing. This wouldn't be possible without first the split. So much of what's happening in creation is this dance of separation and reunion, this rhythm. You see it in relationships. You fall deeply in love, and then there's a separation happening where each one remembers who they are in difference, in their uniqueness. And it's painful. And then they fall in love again, and there's a reunion, and there's this rhythm, which can be very fast or very slow. And very agonizing and very beautiful. But this is where we get lost so often in this dance. Meaning we forget that we're one. We identify with the suffering or the bliss in this dance of separation and reunion. We identify the bliss with the bliss, wanting to keep it. I want just the love. I want the good bit. Why are you denying me the love? You're the source of the bliss, and now you turned it off. Why? You're the source of the unity, so why did you turn it off? This kind of total loss of center and blaming the other, which seemed to be the source of the delight of reunion. And we identify with the suffering. It's because of the other. So in this class, we're going to look at the rings of what we see as other. Because everywhere where there's a separation, even within ourselves, there is an experience of something other than ourselves. There's a certain sneaky energy which we can call otherness. So one day our beloved is part of us, like an extension of our arm that we hardly pay attention to, and then comes a shock. And suddenly we don't know them anymore. They are other than us. It's this feeling of otherness. Or we reach a pain deep inside ourselves and we other them. Often in couples, what they call that is demonifying the other. You're making a demon out of them. They go from being the love of our life to being the Satan's father or mother or brother, sister or Satan. Just Satan. Totally other. How can that be? When you give couples therapy, how can it be that often it's like an archetypal war of good and evil between the two that in the name of love? This othering starts. You're other. And this otherness has an energy. It comes into that area of dissociation because it involves rupturing, breaking the connection, alienation, feeling alienated, suddenly feeling like our loved one is looking at us like the Antichrist. And we don't feel this is ourselves, so we feel alienated. We're othered, made other, extremely other, the source of all of their suffering. This feeling of there's a strangeness in it. It's very much in the area of what we talked about with dissociation. And it feels emotionally very, very alive. Extremely truthful emotions coming through, emotions that have been wanting to express, to move through the denial maybe for lifetimes. At the same time, is completely out of all proportions to what's actually happened. She gave me a look. She gave me the look. And it's like cosmic war. To the end, to the extinction of the soul, because of a look, out of all proportions. So there's something very charged happening at that boundary between ourself and the experience of otherness. So another way to look at it is there is ourself and there is the other self, or there's one self coming through two forms, and in the middle is this field of othering, of otherness, estrangement. And often weaponized when people say, oh, I don't recognize that. Very sweet Dutch way to say to other another person. Oh, jealousy. No, I don't recognize that. That's other. Little rejections. So in this 5 days, we're going to expand our inquiry into this sense of the other and the self. It's the core duality of self and other, where the non-dual quality is unity. And of course, unity wouldn't be needed as a word, even, without the existence of the duality of self and other. And unity would mean nothing. You don't see Sophie, the dog, and her mates talking about unity. They just move, and if they're in a herd, they're in a herd. And if she's by herself in the corner wanting to sleep, that's what she's doing. She's not split, she's not reflecting. But with humans, there is this split, which produces the concept of unity, of oneness, which means we need it to find our way back from this self or other confusion. The other myself and the other, or the other within myself, the other which is myself. So on this first day, we're going to start with the front line, which is that one, the other myself. Through the days, we'll expand the circle. Tomorrow, we'll have the delight of family and community. We'll expand that into our tribe and the nation, into humanity, whatever that is, and beyond. To open up the channels of attunement and freedom from essence into the whole field, meaning that the collective is no longer a great big division, but it will, I hope, by the end of the 5 days, be an incredible resource, a service and a resource, both. Because when we say the collective, most of the time, if I say what's happening in the collective right now, if you open up your felt sense, you open up you're attuned to the collective field of Holland, what's happening in the collective? First, there might be a bit of a confusion. Is this me or is this the collective? You see, there's already a split, as if we're not part of the collective. But, you know, I'm not Dutch, but the moment I got off that plane, I'm in that water. I'm breathing that air. So already there, we have a moment of discernment. So what's happening in the collective? So we look towards ourselves and we look towards the collective. We go like this, self-other, self-other, self-other. But then most of the time, what we're looking for, either in self or other, what we're attracted towards, what draws our attention is suffering. Oh, there's an incredible fear here now about Putin. Oh, there is, you know, a lot of financial insecurity. Nobody feels safe. Do I feel safe? Oh, yeah. Hell no. I trust me, man. So often what we go towards in the collective automatically, and it's really the way we've been groomed by the collective, is to relate to the collective as a field of suffering. We move towards what's wrong. And that gives us this golden moment to say, okay, this is in the field, this is not me. Fuck the field. But I hope that what becomes clear through these days and by the end of the 5 days is that within the collective there is, and within the human field, as well as the rest, there is this incredible resource of true nature as well. There is an incredibly beautiful wish for things to be well, for harmony, for kindness. There's incredible compassion moving through the collective. It doesn't show up in the newspapers or in the politics, places which make all the noise, but it shows up on the streets. Incredible humanity, actually, in the human collective, meaning if somebody falls over, a lot of people are going to come and pick them up. They're not going to say, okay, what's your ethnicity? How much do you earn? What's your net worth? Is it worth it to me to pick you up? There might be 1 in 10 that says that. It's like the body moves before this strange place of otherness catches up. And then it can't hardly get over it. Yes, well, I once helped a neo-Nazi on the street. He broke his leg, and I helped him. So I'm so wonderful. But in real time, he didn't think about that. Does this guy deserve my help? I'll break the other leg. Afterwards, we think that. Why didn't you break the other leg? So we seem to have a preference for suffering, and that reflects especially in how we relate to the other, the collective. It's like we distance ourselves from pain, from suffering by putting it out there, but then we can't leave it alone. We put the suffering in the collective from the depth of ourselves, the depth of our insecurity. We make it into an unsafe world, but then we're obsessed with the world and how it's unsafe. And that's what the world is, nothing else. There's no possibility of safety in the world. You see how narrow it is. We don't even know what the world is. Even the concept of the world is already an incredible reduction. It's like this big bucket that we make, and then we put in it our worst nightmare. And then we can't get over it. It's like we want to own it, but we don't want to own it. So we have this push-pull thing going on, which is always an indication of trauma. And in this case, it's collective trauma, where we pull it towards ourselves and we push it away at the same time. Yes, but the world. I could be enlightened, but I'm so compassionate. I want to be one with the world, which is not. So what we will be looking at is our relationship, first of all, with not only otherness, but especially suffering on the one hand, and that which suffers. Because both of these get othered. The first thing that gets othered is the pain. There's an incredible sadness inside of us. We can't bear it. We can't function like this. So locally, socially, we pretend it's not there. But then we feel this incredible sadness in the world. The whole world is depressed. So there is this incredible sadness in the world. This is what there's a hell of a lot of other things going on in whatever the world is, if the world even exists. But what we're tuned into now is this sadness, but only the sadness. So we're othering something else, because what is feeling the sadness? If we go into the collective and we feel this incredible sadness, and let's say it's absolutely true that there is in the collective of humans an experience of shared sadness. So what is having this experience? Which aspect of the shared field of humans is having this experience of sadness? Sadness doesn't exist alone. Something is having this experience. Something which wants to be is experiencing sadness. So we can take it back. We can look at ourselves when we're experiencing sadness. What part of ourselves, what part of our essence is experiencing sadness? Who is experiencing the sadness? What is experiencing sadness? Sadness is not anything without something which is suffering it. This is always the case with suffering. It doesn't exist alone. It's if you smack my leg is suffering. The pain doesn't exist in isolation. So in the case of sadness, you could say the happiness is experiencing sadness. It's experiencing this kind of descent. This grief, or the joy is experiencing this grief. So something of true nature is experiencing the suffering, is experiencing the sadness. So now we could look at the world and we close out the world because it's collectively sad. There's this sadness in the world, but then what's behind that? If you look into the collective, this is incredible resource of collective happiness. Happiness which goes way beyond the passing experience of sadness, the waves of sadness. Beyond that is the happiness. It's not caught inside the sadness. The sadness proves that the happiness is there. It's possible. It's alive. Maybe not manifesting. Maybe yes, manifesting, but we won't know if we completely other it. We other true nature. We alienate true nature. You can already begin to get a sense of the hell loop which is there between self and the collective, between self and other. Because it affirms then if we cut out the happiness from the collective and there's only sadness there, then the sadness which we chucked out of ourselves into the world has no resource. There's only this tiny little tiny old star of memory of happiness inside our lonely self. But nothing out there and nothing here. So it's a hell loop. It's like it's affirmed. Yes, there is nothing. It's it's nothing in the universe except sadness. And happiness doesn't exist. Maybe in another billion years in the golden age, after Trump's finished his work, cleaning up the show. So we're working really with unlocking this barrier, which is otherness, and moving more and more into the experiential, into the felt sense, where this energy the energy of other begins to be an invitation to reunion as opposed to a full stop, a no entry sign, a block.
Question. Is it not in the sadness already the happiness? Because it's some softness around sadness.
Yes.
Is it already, it's there.
If we can allow the sadness as an experience, that which allows or brings the whole of true nature on. When we conflict with the experience of sadness, then it becomes two-dimensional, It becomes threatening, it becomes fearful, it becomes shameful, it becomes something that makes us feel guilty. It can get badness and madness gets blended in there. And we don't really feel it. We don't really experience it. It becomes a belief. And that's partly why we get compelled back again towards the suffering, because when it's a belief, something very deep inside ourselves, our capacity to feel anything at all needs to live in order for us to be alive. So sadness now seems to be like the ticket to freedom. So now we have the media, which is feeding back to us all the saddest stories because it makes us come to life. Yay, disaster. Can we get it darker so that we can be lighter? Yeah. We go into a kind of hell loop at this interface where there's so much fear, so much shame, so much lockdown on possibility, and blinding of ourselves and blinding of our hearts, and the closing of our hearts towards our own capacity to be here. And it's like whole dissociated zones of suffering are created like this. Abstractions. I name one, politics. Politics is a collection of beliefs and opinions without feeling connection most of the time, and often these days charged with the energy of conflict or the forbidden emotions which we collectively are not able to allow ourselves to feel: jealousy, hatred, murderous intent, the feeling of being erased in our individuality. That's the ethnic cleansing thing is really about our incredible pressure on our unique basis, the beauty of our uniqueness, the agony of being made to be the same as everybody else, everybody with their Samsung or their iPhone or their Netflix. I mean, that's it. No, there's Disney Plus. All them cripples with their blankets. Yeah. This scream of like, but I exist. But projected outwards through the form of an opinion, but with the emotional content as if somebody is soul murdering us. Doesn't matter who's on which side or who's projecting it in which direction, but there is this shadow and this stuff which gets channeled outwards into the political, where the politicians whip it up and throw it at each other. You're the child abusers. You Democrats are the child abusers. No, you Republicans are the child abusers. Oh, it's the Jews. Epstein. But nobody gives a toss about children that are abused. So, there was a time in the ancient Greeks, maybe, when politics was about running out, we're sitting together with different points of view, different qualities to work out how to run the household economically. Very much of a story of togetherness. Each one brings their point of view, and together we might get something which is good for the whole. Now it's become an abstraction, a dissociated kind of monster, which is not connected to people, not connected to well-being. All about winning and not losing. Left hand fighting against the right hand. There's a whole dimension where families are split up. Literally. Families are split up from their brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers because of an opinion. Where old friendships are ruined because of opinions. An opinion being something which we think is really, 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 really right. We're right. The other is wrong. Opinion. What the hell? It's so grandiose and so much a hijacking of the here and now and direct experience that it would be worthwhile for us whenever we feel that we're really, 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 really right to assume that we're wrong. It would be very liberating because it would set us free from that whole zone. And what is that zone? Why do we need to be set free? Because it's literally, the five senses aren't involved. Experience in the here and now is not involved. The deeper yearnings of our heart is not involved. Our deepest wish for well-being isn't even consulted. Our actual relationships with actual people is not included. Our responsibility for humanity is completely ignored. It's totally disempowered. It's all what's happening out there in the government or in the media or with the rich people. What the fuck? It's all based on the assumption that we are one-dimensional creatures, that this life is the only life, and this world, whatever it is the world, is the only world where might is right. It's kill or be killed. And that humans are superior to everything and everybody else, and that we know best for the whole universe, without even daring to experience where we are. You can feel the lunacy and how important it is to find pathways back to our own center so that we can come to life in the depth of feeling in the here and now and respond to what is here in front of us for real. So all of this starts with our relationship with suffering. This whole shit show is getting a life of its own by people disowning suffering, disowning where it hurts. Disowning where it hurts inside ourselves and disowning the suffering in others. And I go to the basic first movement because we're already at the stage of weaponizing suffering. Feeling kind of basically pleased when something awful happens to the other side. As if that's not our side. So moving into this place of our relationship with self and other, the self which we are, this is one relationship. What is my relationship with myself? What am I? Who am I? Where am I? And otherness, because if we translate otherness into a feeling, we're already coming somewhere. The moment we agree to feel that elusive sense of otherness, the othering, we're moving into oneness again. It's a bridge. Between me and you, there is this otherness. This otherness has kept us apart, but this otherness will unite us if we allow ourselves to feel it. It's full of stuff. So the first stage where we are deeply programmed to disown, to alienate ourselves from experience, to bring in this energy of otherness. There's plenty of it. It's close to awakening the sense of otherness. So the first stage is where there is this primal pain, suffering which we cannot bear. And already when I say it, the suffering which we cannot bear, what we've got is the pain, the happening of the experience, the pure experience of pain. And then there is this othering movement. I can't bear it. It's an overlay. As if there's an option. So the timer is going. We are living in time. We are creatures, experiences happening in time and space. The timer is going. So at 1 minute past midnight, the suffering happens. At 2 minutes past midnight, we decide we can't bear it. But it already happened. It's too late. The mind is following as an after effect. Well, that was bloody horrible. I didn't want to have that experience. But it's already had, in its purity. It's already alive. And in the field of direct experience, everything that we experience is alive for eternity. So now we're conflicting with an eternal experience of ourselves at the core. This is before everyone else gets involved and tells us that we're right. So we other the experience. So the experience is no longer direct. Because now we have this great big condition on experiencing anything at all that we shouldn't experience that thing again. So let's say this pain that we felt on being born or as a child. This pain is right here. It's like a dagger in the chest. And at 2 minutes past midnight, we decided we must never feel that. We don't agree. You see the dissociation that the mind is making? As if it can control it and undo the past. So now it's 2 minutes past midnight. I must never feel that. Okay, I felt it in the past, but I'm never going to feel it again. I'm not going to recognize how it felt to feel it in the past. So the only way I can pull that off is by not letting my consciousness come to this area. It's like I never want to feel my leg is hurt, so cut off my leg. Great solution, isn't it? But then you got a phantom limb. Yeah. At this stage, it's still part of naturalness, because in naturalness, it's I don't want to feel it right now. There's space for something else. I need time and space. But it becomes a habit, and it becomes a reflex, and it becomes the way the whole collective moves, and it becomes the way we're taught to move. It's not conscious. But the irony is that the direct experience of the suffering is immensely conscious and alive. When you see it, when you work on yourself, and you come back to that place of absolutely unfiltered, direct experience of the pain, let's say, of not being welcome in this world as a child, which we all had in some degree. So that shock of not feeling unwelcome, when you experience it directly again, not as a thought, not as a belief, the direct experience, it's like, wow, it's so releasing. It's so alive. It's like the whole of your essence comes online. Suddenly you are alive because it is just an experience. Very potent. It's like tequila. It's like really sharp and like mind-blowing, but exhilarating at the same time. It's extremely pleasant. If you like tequila. And it's pure suffering, but it's also the pure experience of what you are. The true nature is online directly. It's no longer being denied. It's an incredible catharsis in a way. It's like a reunion. It's like an awakening. And we all know this, these moments where we touch a pain, which is like something we've been avoiding maybe for lifetimes. And when we actually touch it, it's like it turns everything around. It's like we are back. Something's redeemed. And it's not the pain which is redeemed, it's that aspect of ourselves which is able to feel this and everything else.
Mm.
So let's rewind a bit. So it's a minute past midnight and we decided this pain must not be here, but this pain is still here. Even though we don't go there anymore, this whole area has now got, warning signs like, danger zone, trespassers will be prosecuted. Do not go there because that's where we keep the pain. But the experience is like, and that which experienced it, let's say it was our kindness experienced this. This is now in trouble because we can't experience kindness without this pain, without this cruelty. So, and a part of our soul is like gone offline. It cannot be here. And that's unbearable. The suffering, okay, let it go. But the kindness cannot be here. See, the belief is forming. So the kindness cannot be here, and I'm here, then the kindness is other. And it's a problem because the kindness kind of is here. So we become a little bit of a paradox. So what we're looking for, because we're very, very, very clever, we're looking for a way where this kindness can be here without that cruelty. So we have to find a space where we can get rid of the cruelty. Which shows up. We need to make a division because we think we're godlike. So that space is often where the cruelty can be, is often projected into the other, that other space. So it's that part of ourselves which we don't recognize, or it's that branch of the family, or that community, which is not our community, that other country. We keep all of our starvation in Africa, don't we? Very nice of them to hold it for us. We keep all of our insanity in mental hospitals, nicely locked up. We keep all of our criminality in prisons, all of our murderous instincts in prisons, nicely locked up. Keep our genocide in the Middle East and parts of Africa. We keep our colonialism in another kind of white person. Not us, but the rich ones. So we take the suffering, we take the pain, and we put it out there. We disown it. We other it. And we try and keep the kindness. So I'm kind, but the world is cruel. But I'm so lonely. Isolated. So not fair. And this kindness has no power because the whole world is so cruel. It's this little tiny light of kindness in this ocean of cruelty. Actually, it's the whole universe. And when I reach up to God, I'm thinking he's going to punish me because he's a cruel bastard. And this is an incredibly horrible experience. So what do I need? I need other people to believe the same, because then if a lot of us believe that all together, then at least I don't feel so lonely or so separated. We can make a club. But in that club, we can all be kind to each other and separate from the cruel outer world. We are the kind people. those regular cruel people out there, the plebs. We don't mix with them. Can't trust them. And our God will be kind. Their God's a cruel God. Their universe is a cruel universe. And we can get quite obsessed with it. We can't just leave those cruel people alone. We have to do something with it. Or they have to have some purpose. Maybe they could work for us. Kill our animals so that we can eat them. So you see, there's a whole interplay here where we disown our own experience, and behind it all there is this loneliness of our own direct experience, that original experience of cruelty. And so what often happens is that when as a collective, we find ourselves, or as a group, or even in our own process, we can find ourselves recruiting parts of ourselves to recognize, to validate that this cruelty is here. So we find cruelty in the world, and this proves that the cruelty is here. And something feels validated. Finally, we're allowed to feel this cruelty. This cruelty can be felt. And if a lot of us are together, it's even more validated. So what are we doing? We're saying we can validate suffering. This suffering which I have deep inside, it matters. It can be validated. It does exist. I'm allowed to feel it. It's not about me, of course. I'm doing it on behalf of these poor people in Africa. I'm all right, Jack. But it's such a valid cause. We're so just, such justice. This pain can be here. Wake up, this pain is here. So we go on protests and we argue with our neighbors, we wave flags. Because this pain is here, because genocide happens. And I feel genocided deep inside, and I'm allowed to feel that now. I also feel genocidal. I'm allowed to feel that now. But it's not me, it's them. And all together, no, we got it right. We're going to protest, validate this area of forbidden experience, which is out there. Not our responsibility. We are the victims like they are the victims. Perpetrator, we don't have any of that. And it's not here, thank God. It's not in Amsterdam. It's out there. But then what happens to this place in our deep inside our root chakra, our basic right to exist, where we feel like we're disappearing, like we're lost in a kind of consumer nightmare, alienated in this modern world, purposeless, hardly existing, not heard, not seen, not validated, in our basic arrival as a soul. It's all about them out there. You want to go there and fight? No, thanks. But what about me? What about them? What about what's really happening? The thing which I'm projecting out there. Still doesn't have a right to exist. Still disappearing. And it's cruel, horrible. But maybe we didn't prove it enough. Maybe it needs to get worse. Maybe the world needs to get darker for me to get that feeling that I exist. It's like a vampire almost. Maybe if they don't just kill 20,000, but they kill 1 million, maybe then I can justify this suffering which I feel inside myself. And the guilt and the shame and all of this. Maybe then it will be heard, it will be seen. Maybe then I'll feel I have the right to be powerful. So we begin really wishing bad. It's like, what, only 10 people killed? Add a few zeros. for the impact. But at the same time, we're going numb. We're giving up on the basic feeling of connection. Our own basic feeling of relationship. It's so far gone from that original pain of having a feeling that we don't have a right to exist. It's very hard to arrive in our uniqueness. Everything's getting hijacked out there. Little by little. Now, we all came into this world. All of us came into this world because we were needed. It's not random that we were born. The qualities of true nature, which are shining through us in their unique combination, were absolutely and totally needed for this body to express. In this environment of the family, of the community, of the country, of wherever you lay your hat, wherever you walk, wherever you go, you are needed. And we have this sense of incredible purpose. And before we get dumbed down through education, we have a feeling of incredible empowerment as well. How many of us were born as young children thinking, I am going to make a difference. I came to make it better. I came to heal something. I have a mission. And how many of us by degrees felt this knocked down, getting lost, but it's still burning from the basis, this basic commitment to the whole. Not just that our life matters, that the whole matters, that there is something which matters in terms of purpose, which wants to express here. And that purpose gets hijacked. Gets hijacked by politics, by campaigns, by trends, by the media.
But maybe it's necessary.
What, the process of being hijacked?
Yeah, because I think the energy is moving faster and faster and faster, and the vision is like we are more conservative than ever, because we are afraid of destruction of the whole planet, of ourselves, and so we can't allow the field of creation anymore.
Yeah.
But it's happening. We can't undo it.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. So there is, through all of life, a natural, like you say, a natural movement of creation and destruction. And that's manifestation. That's the whole universe. That's our lives. It starts from the moment we're born, which is a very destructive event. Much more destructive than how we die is how we're born, if you think about it. All the way through creation, destruction. And we only want the good and not the bad. And that's been tagged with creation is good and destruction is bad. But this kind of suffering, this lunacy, this suffering on suffering on suffering, all of these hell loops has nothing to do with destruction.
Mm-hmm.
This is everything to do with illusion, with the arrogance of mind creating sub-realities, dictating what's here, what's there, what's me, what's you, where I begin, where I end, what I own, what I don't own, as if we created ourselves. And then feeling guilty because we made a mess of it. Why did I do it? Why didn't I do it? Why am I not like this? Why am I not like that? When this basic belief that we are in charge. As if we put ourselves together, as if we were a work of art which we painted. And didn't do it good enough. So there is an enormous amount that can be done by each individual in reclaiming the uniqueness of the individual, which is directly of service to the whole. The horrible acceleration which we see is partly an acceleration of awakening, and the awakening accelerates the destruction as well. And it comes in cycles like history is repeating itself. But partly if you listen and you learn to listen to the deeper scream, which is there behind all of these movements, it's a scream which is connected with individuals not knowing who they are. Like they have to be uniform, they have to be the same as everybody else. We have to have the same beliefs. I know the truth. Let me tell you the truth, and then you'll be one of the special ones that knows the truth. This feeling, this coercion, this feeling that what we experience directly has no validity. Am I okay that I suffered this pain? You know, you slap me on the face and it hurts. Is it okay that I suffered that pain, or am I wrong? Should I ask somebody, did I suffer that pain or did I not suffer that pain? How much pain did I suffer? Like, who is the authority? It's like we have no right to exist. And to have no right to exist means no right to feel, no right to be part of the whole, no right to experience, no right to experience things uniquely from our own point of view. And that's just the beginning, because that which experiences is what's really wanting to come to life. Again, true nature is the one that experiences. True nature is the one that suffers. So we can let lifetimes go. We don't care about that. But if you shit on the love of another human being, when we feel that our innocence is shocked or violated, or we see innocence, experience innocence being shocked or violated, this is unbearable. When aspects of our true nature are othered, ruptured, meaning are blocked, not allowed to be, this is compelling, because it's simply not possible. It's forcing a split. So my love cannot be here without abuse. Now, it sounds like, well, that's fucked up. But this is a collective experience. You can love a little bit, rationally, in proportion, privately, towards an object, as an object. You can't, if you move with this kind of experience of the source of love, wild, unconditional, free, always essential, always there, wherever consciousness is. This is kind of abusive towards social norms. It's abusive towards educational norms. It's abusive towards the collective belief system. You'll get abused because it's abusive. You'll be labeled. I don't know what kind of disorder they'll call it. Euphoria disorder. I don't know. Happiness. Why are you smiling all the time? What is your problem? Like what? It's like, she's laughing all the time. I want what she's taking, you know, it's just not allowed. It's like, it's dissident and it's dissonant. It's like it's abusing the whole. We all have to be very gray and think the same and believe the same and feel the same. And that's a little bit of it. Feeling is actually kind of optional. So in all of this, what we're talking about and what we're going to the core of is this place where trauma meets karma. And karma meets trauma. Karma is the lessons of mastery in which we are bringing true nature into this world and learning how to bring it into this world. Trauma is where that sucks. All of this is not just individual, but also collective, also epigenetic, which is part of the collective, the ancestry. These themes are inside ourselves, directly experienced, and out there. There is no such thing as a theme which is out there and not inside here. And there's no such thing as a theme which is inside here and not outside there. What's alive, what's our playing field, is our relationship to the different forms that we create. The relationship is where it runs. That's where the feeling quality is. How do we feel towards ourselves? What's our relationship with ourselves? What's our relationship towards this field of otherness? Is it hostile and nasty and unsafe and dangerous, or is it blissful, ecstatic and luxurious and full of opportunity? Or both? What's our relationship to the world? How do we relate to our tribe? Who is our tribe? How do we relate to our tribe in the heavens? Same shit. So relationship is going to be this fluid place of attitude, of feeling connection, how we are viewing through our consciousness, how we are approaching this thing which seems to be distant. Clearing the pathways. They're key in karma and in trauma and in the collective and in the individual is the quality of freedom. The message all the way through is remember that you're free, remember that you're free, remember that your consciousness is always already free. And with that comes all of the qualities that have been forgotten or that we believed cannot be here or there or anywhere. It's a very, very sober task of the middle way, where we're learning together to allow the richness of the experience of being here in togetherness as individuals, the unity and the uniqueness. Restoring the aspect of that which is alive and feels the experience, the suffering, the center point. So we're going to do a lot of exercises back to center, back to center, back to center, back to center, go out and back to center, and it's a flow. It's all about the pathways. There is a story in the Bible of the prodigal son. And the prodigal son goes out into the jungle or the forest, into the wilderness, and is lost. And the father grieves. And all the other children stay at home like good kids. And then at a certain stage, the prodigal son comes back and the father has a party. And the other kids are a bit jealous because he buggered off and now he's back. But that is consciousness. Our consciousness needs to go out there and get lost in the wilderness in order to find its way back. This is the pathway of manifestation, of being, and that includes the collective. And when the centering principle of movement is mastered, it can be in relation to the universe, in relation to the aliens, in relation to God, in relation to our beloved, in relation to our own feet, or the family doctor. Anything which appears as other, something gets loosened up. Something becomes free to be, which is so essential. And then the experience of suffering changes. It's no longer absolute. It's no longer annihilating our true nature. It is part of what is experienced here in the art of being alive. Like your legs hurt when you're training for the Olympics. It's not the end of the world. It can pass through. It enhances the whole as opposed to taking something away from the whole. It's validated as much as anything else. So truth comes out.